Alright, so you have your model, and you decide you want to put a logo on there of some sort. In this case, this is my Nerf Blaster, so I want to put a Nerf logo on there. Now, before we begin, it's very important that you understand what size you set for your model when you started it in Substance Painter. In my case, it's 2048, so just remember that number. Now we're going to go to Google, and we are going to look up a Nerf logo. And for what we're looking for here is we're looking for a transparent background, and it has to be PNG, or else the transparency won't show up. And luckily for us, Nerf logos there's just a plethora of transparent backgrounds for the Nerf logo. So I'm just gonna grab this one and we're gonna save it as Nerf, I can't spell, logo. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna jump into Photoshop. And here's where that model size comes into play. Here you're gonna want to change your width, and your height to 2048, and your background contents needs to be transparent. So now we have that, and now we're also going to go and open our logo. So here, because we chose a transparent logo, it saved all that information. We're good. We can just copy and go back to our 2048 and paste it in. Now, luckily for me, this is a good size. I don't have to adjust it at all. This looks just fine for what we're trying to do. So what we're going to do now is save, and I'm running on a older version of Photoshop, so I think it's export now on the newer versions. Logo texture is what we're going to call this. Did I put space there? No. Okay. So Nerf logo texture, that is our texture file. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go layer, layer style, color overlay. And we're going to change this to white. And that is the only thing you have to mess with. Just change the color to white, and it should look something like this. There have been other logos that, maybe it doesn't quite look like that. It's fine. So now we're going to save this or export as, once again, another PNG, Nerf logo alpha. You definitely want to have some indication between your texture file and your alpha. It's very important. Now, we go back to Substance Painter, and we need to import our textures and our alpha. So there's many ways to import it, or at least I know of a few. This is the fastest. Just select them from your file explorer and drag them onto the shelf. And this little window should show up. From here, we have our alpha and our texture here popping up. We're going to assign our alpha as our alpha and our texture as our texture, and that is why we named it that way. Now, we need somewhere to import our resources to, and I always select project. That seems like the best place, usually. And that's it. You import, and they pop down on your shelf, and everything's good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our layers, and you're going to want to add a new layer. Rather than a fill, you want to add a layer, and then we're going to we're going to go down to your alpha. We're going to drag our Nerf logo alpha to our alpha. And you can see it create that shape there now. And I can put it, but it's giving you a square. That's not what we want. So if we go to material, you can see all these are selected. Just deselect them to only color. And then we drag our texture onto the base color. So now we have color on our logo. If we zoom in here, I can change it. I can rotate it. I can change its transparency. All the fun stuff you can with Substance Painter, and then just place it. Looks good to me. That doesn't look quite right though, so I'm gonna increase my flow. There we go. So now you have a logo. Pretty simple. All you need to do was find the logo, change some aspects in Photoshop, and then import it into Substance Painter, and you're good to go.